Each of us is exposed to it. We play it. We may be working it. But do we know what music is and why knowing what music is could change our playing? I am Modi, the autistic guitarist. Yes, I still have this accent. I was pretty surprised to discover that most of us can't give a clear definition of music. As a musician, this is interesting me, but also as an autistic. In fact, because of people's reaction about me playing music. As an autistic, I have sensory issues. My senses are all too loud or too weak. For the hearing, I struggle in my everyday life with unexpected sounds or unorganized sounds. So all the time I go around with earplugs. People knowing me as suffering of sounds and noises not always understand how an autistic suffering of auditive issues can be a professional musician. So here is my explanation to them, but beyond this I will give you a definition, my definition of music, that might help you as a musician to understand your experience and may improve your playing. According to dictionary's definition, music is a cultural activity whose medium is sound. So music is structured by the pitch, the height of a sound, the tonality, the organization of notes in heights, the rhythm, the organization of sounds according to patterns, the dynamics, softness or loudness, and the timbre, the quality of an auditory sensation. Is music universal? What does Beethoven, the early jazz, hardcore punk and Justin Bieber have in common? Every single one at its own period wasn't thought as music. So music is relative in time. We saw in the definition that music is a cultural activity. So could we say that music is universal? The concept of music and its structure does, but a piece of music can be universal. As you can hear, I grew up between several cultures, and I noticed in retrospect that there is difference in the use of music components from culture to culture. I am Algerian, and traditional Algerian music allows quarter tones and microtones that are perceived by Western listeners as not in the tonality. Her music is also more based on melody than on harmonics. I mean, playing a melody line is more usual than playing a succession of chords. I am married to an Ethiopian Jewish woman, and I noticed that her traditional music is beat-based. It's typically African, so maybe it's not a coincidence that Afro-Americans developed music like hip-hop or funk, or concepts like swing, bebop, or groove. It reminds me of the movie about James Brown.
Pee-wee, what's this?
Drum, Mr. Brown.
Now we're getting it. What's Mazzy hold?
Drum, Mr. Brown.
He told his musicians to each one that their instruments were drums. Europeans base their music on harmony and melody, and use rhythm just to structure it, not as a main component. Let's take another example to see if music is universal. Are North American babies wired to speak English? Are Arab babies wired to speak Arabic? Nope. Babies can hear a lot more pitches than we do, but because they are exposed to only one language, their brain, which always creates shortcuts to react faster, discriminates the irrelevant sounds and becomes super specialized in identifying sounds of the native language. This is a reason why French cannot hear the difference between r, ch, h. This is also the reason why Spanish cannot hear the difference between b and v. And the reason why Russians cannot hear h and pronounce g. And finally, this is the reason why Arabic speakers cannot differentiate p from b, and so on. So, according to our cultures, we are able to hear some sounds and not others, to love musical patterns and not others. So let's ask some more questions. Is music feeling? Is there a biological background for music attractiveness? It's proved that we have predispositions to react to an harmonic interchange, the starting of a singing voice, the climax of a crescendo, and a downward quint, a musically unexpected material, and the violation of predictions. Those ones are including surprise. We anticipate thanks to melodic or harmonic indices, and the surprise comes from the fact that these anticipations are realized or not. The music components that I put in my definition are also known as emotion influencers. Okay, so if music is proven to elicit emotions, can music, not lyrics, elicit certain type of emotion on demand? I would say no for two reasons. First of all, the cultural component of music. Secondly, because of the fact that science doesn't prove that music inherently causes music-driven emotions. A minor chord doesn't cause sadness. It's tense, but its structure is not biologically recognized by our ears as sad. I remember I broke up from my girlfriend in a period where a really happy song came out. But for me, this happy song was really depressive. Why? In Israel, Oriental music is really sad according to Western standards. But in this country, this music is associated with joy and happiness and is the most played music in weddings and bar mitzvah. So if we consider music as poorly emotional driven, could we say that music is a language? Yes, but really poor. The fact that improvising musicians are using body language or pre-agreed signs prove this. If after hours of rehearsing, you and your fellow musicians are able to stop or start a part of a musical piece at the same time, it doesn't mean that you are communicating, but that you count the measures and different parts of the song. I remember that I found a way to make my musician mates laugh. While everyone was getting ready for a gig or rehearsal, I used to play an horrible blues lick. Why was that funny? Because it was out of tune and out of every musical standard we knew. The context of who's playing, me, was really funny. It was clear to everyone that a professional musician could not have played so badly. So humor is possible in music, and because it is without any external sign, like body language or face expressions, but inherent in the sounds themselves, so we can clearly speak about a language. A roll-on of drum stones or a transition on the cymbals can be a signal announcing the end or a passage of a musical piece. So we can say that there is a musical communication, but not elaborate enough to say pass me the salt or I have to buy eggplant. Thus, music is a cultural organization of sounds temporally and spatially, which can poorly or richly communicate emotions. Poorly by musical clues, which may indicate changes in the musical atmosphere. Richly due to context or personal experience, listeners can associate strong emotions to a piece of music, linked to events of the life. A song played during a time when you broke up from your girlfriend or fell in love will be associated with your own emotions of the moment, which are not necessarily shared by others. It's a rich but rarely subjective way of communicating through music. Music is incredibly rich because of its ability to evoke different emotions in each of us. Music is good when at the same time it is able to give me a sensation of home, of well-known, and to surprise me. So as musicians, we can internalize this definition to guide our playing or a composing process. It's up to us, musicians, to create a feeling of déjà vu and of surprise, to guarantee an extraordinary sensory and emotional experience. Beyond the song itself, the context of the song, the release of the song itself, even will help the audience to create an emotional experience and to bond with it. Okay, I try to base this definition on scientific facts, but you might not agree. So please write me in the comments what is your definition of music. Okay, that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, it's really important. You can hit a like and why not to share this video. You can also support me by buying my music on Spotify or on iTunes. And you can also buy my book Autism, Falafel and Rock and Roll on Amazon. All the links are below. See you!